Welcome into our lives.
And welcome to the Expanders Club podcast.
We're so happy to have you.
Join us as we embark on a journey of deep exploration, soul searching, and asking the hard questions.
With the goal of truly understanding the most aligned, empowered, and purposeful versions of ourselves.
We want to live an extraordinary life, and we're willing to dig deep to find out what it takes.
Buckle up, you're about to meet a new version of yourself, an extraordinary one. Hello, friends, and welcome to a very special episode of the Expanders Club podcast, a new series we are doing called Ask a Psychic, and I am here with the lovely, the incredible, my co-host, psychic, medium, spiritual teacher, all the things, Christina. Hello, my friend.
No, you're the wonderful one.
No, you.
No, you.
Tell the people what in the world we're doing here.
Well, we realized that there's a lot of mystery behind, like, what's a psychic medium? What's a spiritual advisor? What's an oracle? What's a Akashic record? And honestly, I'm sick of it, like, explaining. I just want to show, I just want to show. And there's so many people who are ready to dip their toes into this work. And they're like, I don't know, I'm scared. Let's see. And so we've opened the doors to say, come on in, give it a try. It'll be 20 minutes and they'll help people, like our audience, understand what these readings are. And we'll just like demystify it and just kind of, show. We're not shy. Let's go.
Yeah. No, we're having a lot of fun and we're helping people. And you guys, if these episodes aren't bringing you to tears, like, check yourself. Because there is this one especially I'm excited to get into, but it is an emotional roller coaster in all the good ways. And we're having a lot of fun. How is life outside of this? We just ended July. We're heading into a new month. How are things?
Yeah, it's crazy, cuckoo, bananas, bonkers. For me, it's funny. I looked at an astrologer yesterday and she was saying like, I warned you, don't book a crazy week this week. If you did, you're feeling it. And I was like, I was just saying to my therapist and friends, I booked such a crazy week. I have things like an oil change and tire changes and then, recording podcast and doing a trip this week and hosting a workshop and learning mahjong and like all these different things. I'm like, great, but why did I do them this week? Because it feels so much more intense than it needs to be. But I just giggle because like, I should just plan my life around my cycle and astrology and that's it.
Truly, that's a lesson I've learned way many times. And I love this like little voice that chimes in when I still try to do it. I still try to overbook myself, but I've gotten so much better. But I'm feeling, I know there's a lot of energies happening right now. Something that's been really interesting that I'm seeing is how people are showing up on social media.
Tell me.
I feel like for July, like we all understood the assignment. The assignment was get out and freaking live, right? Like go out, enjoy summer, do the thing. And God, my July was fabulous. I ate my body weight's worth of ice cream. I went to the beach like 25 times, like crushed it, right? But what I noticed is when I would post stuff on social media, whether it was a post or in stories, like it had, at least 100 less like interactions. Like let's talk about stories. There was at least 100, sometimes like 150 less interactions there would normally be. And I kind of loved it because I was like, wait, I don't have, like, if no one else is showing up, I don't have to show up, right? And it like gave me extra permission to not show up. And I even had an influencer friend who said like Meta called her like a week ago and was like, hey, could you start posting again? Could you post more?
Sorry, what?
Yes, because I think as a collective, we're all like, let's take a break. Like I really, as you know, like the collective, we act together in so many ways.
I didn't know Meta was so needy like that.
I know.
Energy. That gives me the ick.
Yes, imagine if we all just stopped.
Yeah, I do imagine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do too. And so I kind of loved that. And then I noticed pretty much August 1 posting stuff back to hundreds of people following my story.
Literally, I like went viral for the first time. Yes, like overnight. I woke up, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, what do you think that is? Like, is it like I feel kind of the like summer's ending anxiety, even though we still have a month and the like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to like prepare to get to work or be something more than what I have to be in the summer. Like, what do you think that is? Why are people like back tuned in?
I think with social media, there's always like the blessing and the curse. And I think the blessing is connection, but I think it comes from like a sense of loneliness. So if people are sitting down and they're not occupying their time with like living life in the world, that there's a sense of like wanting to fill something. And the beauty of social media is that there is a lot of great stuff there to connect with and learn from. So I wonder if people are just like, what do I now do with this downtime? And with content like ours, when we're sharing from our heart and we're trying to infuse more love and grounded clarity and cut out the BS and all of that, I think that people will find it and resonate with it. And like, at least there's a human behind this. It's not like we're pushing product, you know? So yeah. What do you like? What do you notice like the types of people that are coming around? Like, are they like
Everyone,
what do you like notice?
it's literally everyone. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, let's say my stories on my personal thing, for example. Like, I have like 4,000 followers or something. I'm not an influencer. I'm active here and there.
yeah.
But I'll have like 200 and some like views or whatever they're called on the stories. And literally in July it was like 44.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I again it was like, okay, weird, but and then I can post the most started posting stuff and nothing like profound or super interesting, and it's like 220, 202. Like, people are just re-engaged, and I wonder if that means they're less engaged in their life, which I think it probably does.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah, but I just got a hit of like putting together what you just said about meta coming. I think we can't ignore the fact that there is a controller here in the algorithm that keeps us thirsty and keeps us coming back on a spiritual like level, vibrational level. And there could very easily, like, I notice I get doxxed, like if I speak up about like global issues. I think we're going to get doxxed from having this conversation because they don't want us to talk about how crappy we think they are and that they give us the ick, but then, this is where we're posting. So I think like, yeah, I think it's also being controlled and we're being manipulated. And I think it would be remiss to say people are always looking online. I mean, come on. Even if there's a dip, it doesn't mean the quality of people who want to find us, are finding us. People just have attention span of like, maybe I'll look at 3 stories and then close out my app, and come back. And if we're not in those stories up front, then they're not going to see us. And so, yeah, I've definitely gotten doxxed before, and I know exactly why and what I'm talking about and how I engage online too. What things you're hearting, what things you're liking, what things you're commenting on.
yeah,
It's watching,
if
you
you're
know.
judging, you get punished.
Yeah.
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 Pretty messed
So,
up. I hope that someday, I mean, partially for my own like parenting, because I don't want to deal with social media when Bowie's like of age to use social media. But
yeah.
like, I just hope someday we're all able to walk away, like how we,
I think it's coming. I do. I can feel like a resistance of sorts. Even people moving to like Substack,
yeah,
where
yeah,
there's like longer form writing. I know we're going to talk about this, but I just wrote like a long form piece and that was incredible engagement. And not only that, but people were like texting me, like not DMing, like not, it was like texting, sending voice notes so I could hear their voice. Like, so to me, that was like, I put out art, in a sense of
yeah.
writing,
It,
like
it is
people
a
are resonating with art. Yeah, I
yes,
guess.
yeah. I feel it like as part of the like back to our roots,
Mm,
basics, more,
mm.
you know, less things, more simplicity. Like, yeah, I'm here for the movement. I'm about to go on a hiatus the 7th through
Oh,
14th of August, maybe even the 15th. We'll see if
there we
anyone
go. Say goodbye to Brooke, everyone.
wants to join me. And I'm visiting family in the countryside in New York. So I will be living like s'mores, camping, swimming in the river, like out on the boat. I can't wait.
It's great.
Well, let's talk about your Substack because I read it and I loved it. And it's a topic that we've been wanting to discuss with our audience. So tell us about it,
Oh
please.
my God, I felt so vulnerable. I started this piece like a month ago, and I try to put out something creative and share about my heart like once a month. And so yeah, I just was like, I'm just going to write about my sobriety. And I say sobriety in that, just to clarify, like, I don't drink alcohol. I dabble in California sober, so that means I like the plants. Um, and it's not coming from a place of addiction. I don't have like a substance abuse issue. I'm addicted to sugar and scrolling, as we talked about, right? Like, okay. But that's not my vice. And so I started writing it, Brooke, and it was like, oh, I went sober in 2014 for the first time. And then it was like, next thing you know, I was talking about my boyfriend that like I asked me to get drunk, and like I was channeling all of these spirit guides for the strangers at the bar, like after and it turned into this story about my heartbreak and how every time I got sober, I got in like a little romantic or big romantic relationship and then ended it when I got heartbroken over that. And then it became a story of like intuition and how I abandoned my intuition and my psychic abilities, and how there's like this veil of, and how alcohol is used in like sacred ceremony to like make us closer. And if that's like, I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, at least not for me. And so, yeah, it just ended up being like, I'm like, am I really talking about like my love life? Like, that's what this story is about. And just also, no ex-boyfriends were harmed in the making. That piece.
Yeah.
It wasn't a takedown, it was just a reflection. So, oh my gosh, yeah. I want to know about your like relationship with not drinking, and like anything that like I know what my intention was with writing it, but I'm curious like
Yeah. Well,
what you resonate with.
I think it's really empowering to not need alcohol in to mask things, to, lubricate social settings, to change our personality for our fullest self to come out, right?
Yeah.
And similar to you, I've never been a big drinker. But I mean, I've bartended for years. I've had a
Hmm.
relationship with alcohol. I love it, love a craft cocktail, a good glass of wine. Like we
Hmm.
lived in Napa for a year and a half. Like, like I've been in the world of alcohol plenty and always like had little moments where I was like, oh, I think I'll quit, especially when I started to get into some health stuff. Was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and you're taking all kinds of supplements and spending all kinds of money on trying to get healthy, and yet you're like, literally drinking poison. And I wish that I had a more like enlightening moment when I decided to quit, but it came after celebrating a girlfriend's birthday, super low key, but we'd rented an Airbnb. There were three of us, and she wanted sushi and red wine for her birthday.
What a combo.
Yes, and we literally just stood in the kitchen and chatted all night, but had sake, sushi, red wine, cheese. The worst freaking combo you could like. I don't know what I was thinking.
Hmm.
Um, and I was the sickest I'd ever been in my life. I didn't know at the time also that I had mold poisoning. So this was postpartum. Bowie was like probably a little over a year. And so still struggling with the hormone imbalance of that. I have Lyme disease, so I'm on an insane amount of supplements. And also I had mold poisoning, which I didn't
Hmm.
I didn't know until a few months later. And my body was just like, done. We're
Hmm.
done with
Hmm.
this.
Hmm.
Literally threw up more times than I've thrown up in my entire life combined.
Hmm.
Couldn't move, could barely. Dennis had to come pick me up at like 4 p.m. the next day, and I could still barely move. It was awful, to the point where my body was like rejecting the thought of alcohol literally for 6 months. Even thinking about alcohol was like
Yeah.
made my stomach turn. So, what a gift that was.
Truly, but here's the thing, Brooke. Let me call myself out. I have had those days more times than I could count from drinking. And it just came to the point where I was like, well, I know if I'm going to drink, then I just need 2 days to recover and I'm probably going to be sick. And it was like, I just thought that that's how it
So
worked,
normal. That's
from,
so
yeah. And I'm the same way. Like, I started with the intention of health, where I was like, this doesn't feel good. And if I'm going to do these detoxes anyway, like I can cut out alcohol. Like, that's easy. And then I was with the presence of my feelings.
Mhm.
And again, I've never had a drink by myself. That is not something I go to be like, let me not feel. So it was surprising to me how much more clarity was coming through from a psychic level, from an energetic, standpoint, from the quantum of like, wow, I'm getting a lot more information about what's here. And then, yeah, so it's like I sort of used my health as the excuse, but the gift that I got was my emotions, my intuition, my connection, and those emotions were hard, like often, you know?
Yes.
And then that's kind of why it ended in like a heartbreak story is because I think ultimately what I did was I was like, you know what? I'm good. I had this detox. What's a drink? I'm done.
Mhm.
I'm single again, you know, like
Mhm.
let me flirt, let me have fun. Like, why not? You know, I'm good. I'm in control of this. But this last time I was like, I'm done. It was like, I don't think I can go back to risking my health, my heart, my psychic gifts ever again.
Yeah. I think especially if you want to have the relationship with intuition that we have, that a lot of people say they want to have, like I think it's important to stay away from alcohol. Like
Yeah.
it does cloud your judgment, it clouds your mind, it clouds your clarity. It's not an act of love. It's not an act of self-love. And in fact, like I would argue that it's the opposite. And so the more my experience is the closer we are to unconditionally loving ourselves, the more tapped in we can be, right? So
Hmm.
every sip, every drink of alcohol moves you further and further away from that self-love and further away from clarity, tapping into intuition, like all of those things. And in my experience, in my opinion, and that is like a big driver for me, especially now having the responsibility of having clarity for others.
Yeah.
I don't even like to take any kind of medication, like any kind of Excedrin, Tylenol, anything like
Yeah.
that, even a few days before a reading. Like I try and avoid it at all costs because anything that's altering my clarity or my state, like it just is not good. I don't do caffeine either
Well, you're
anymore.
talking about sensitivity. You're talking about being highly attuned and highly sensitive. And again, just because, like, when you're highly attuned and sensitive to the universe, all of it, then you're highly sensitive in your body and you can feel what any chemical shift is.
Yeah.
You can feel sugar differently. You can feel fat differently. You can feel like the environment in the air differently. My friend walked in the other day. She's like, "What are all of these things you have running in your house?" I'm like, "That's an air filter. That's a dehumidifier." Like, she's like, "What's wrong with the air?" I'm like, "I'm not saying anything's wrong. For me, I'm sensing, you know, like something like that.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool too? I don't know if you have experience, given what the little I know about your upbringing, but I've been around a lot of people who are alcoholics, and my clients, and you know, I've seen programs, and one of the biggest takeaways that I love about that is that they emphasize that you are not meant to just stop a habit.
Mm.
What you're meant to do is resource yourself with so much good in your life,
Yeah.
like habits that feel fun to you. Pick up something, you know, a pottery class, you know, 3 times a week. And when you're doing pottery, you know, you're not drinking. And so it's not the absence of something, it's actually filling yourself up with so much wholeness, so much presence, that the alcohol is a chance to kind of like take a back seat, and it becomes less loud because you're just honestly too busy, like
I love
being in life.
the wholeness piece. Wholeness
Yeah.
piece. And then also too, if you're going that direction, a piece of it for me was I don't have the time to waste. Like I don't have the time to waste. And my daughter was a huge motivator for that.
Yeah.
Like I was already dealing with Lyme disease. That would put me in bed for a couple days a month. And I was like, well, I'm certainly not going to waste another day time like being in bed or not feeling well or not being the most present mom I can be. And so
Yeah.
like I had different markers at different stages of this experience. It's been a little over 2.5 years for me now, and different things that have been that like extra little motivator. But that was definitely when like I don't have time to waste. I want to be present. I want to be a good mom. And again, you start to feel your life, you start to experience your life without it. And you're like, I don't miss it
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I
And
don't really. There's
it,
times.
it sometimes surprises me how often people drink, or it's interesting being the sober person when other people are drinking, and you like start to see people's
I
personalities
know.
and you start to like it's a very interesting experience, and I love that more people are becoming sober curious. But I think for sure if you want to work in this world, if you want to even if you don't want to work in this world, but if you want to fully tap into your intuition, your gifts, you want to be able to connect with your guides, whatever you want to call it, like I think cutting out alcohol is a really important piece.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, I agree. I'm in it. And I don't know if you have this experience, but when I'm around people who are drinking or like partaking in any substances, I get a contact drunk and high. Like, I am like,
The
I
energy.
have a drunk personality being sober. I'm literally like, I will talk to all the strangers. I will dance on that table. I will be out all night. Like, as long as people are having an elevated experience and their personality is not changing for the worse or darker, and they're like catching a wave, I think that's part of why people go to it because they like themselves. At least my circle, I'm fortunate enough to like be around people who really are fun, you know.
Yeah.
But I think they need that in order. Or I don't know what they think. All I know is like I personally don't need that in order to like take off into the stratosphere of like having a wild, fun, connected time. Like I'm constantly being silly and embarrassing myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be
Liberating.
drunk.
How liberating and empowering is that to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can be fun and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I can
But I'm
be.
like, oh, if they have a couple drinks, then I'll like be right there with them. It's like I'm like ingesting it next to them as if, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it's like drunk through osmosis.
I think that's an important part of the journey too, like getting to know
Yeah.
yourself in all environments, feeling whole in all environments, feeling good
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
bring your full self to the table, right? Without any
Yeah.
helpers, like that's so empowering. Like
Yeah.
if you can do that, if you can say no, go to a party, an event, say no to the alcohol and still have be one of the people having the best freaking time, like how empowering is that? Imagine what you can then do, you can then achieve after that because it just like boosts your confidence, boosts your
It
soul.
does. It does boost my confidence. Like I know how to be a person in the world. And okay, here's another example. I was like laughing the other day because I was at a 4th of July party with my family and I wasn't drinking. And there was all these like new people around. And usually like I'm there and I'm like hamming it up and I want to talk to the like adults and like hear what they like make, you know, I don't know. I'm just like running around. And I realized like I was feeling like I didn't do that. And I said to my brother, I was like, wow, it's so interesting how like introverted I become when I didn't drink. And he goes, Christina, you literally danced for an hour and a half with all the 1 to 3 year olds at the party to let it go and all the musical things. And you were running around like the Pied Piper with all these children. He's like, you were not introverted. And it's just so like, that's what I chose to do. I went to the kids, I went to the magic, I went to the silly because kids are drunk. Like,
Exactly.
oh, like they don't have a filter, you know. I want to, and so isn't that funny that I was like, oh my gosh, it's not that I was introverted. I just redirected where my energy went.
Well, and isn't that the energy we're trying to get back to as
Yeah.
by drinking, right? Is
Yeah.
like that, like
Hmm.
youthful, carefree, like anything goes energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's all interesting. And I do think it's really important doing this work for the people that psychics and those working in the healing world like think about.
Yeah.
The maintenance, their own energetic maintenance, I think it's a part of it. What you put in your body is going to impact the clarity.
Yes. Okay. Talk more about clarity because, like, I think it's very hard to explain what I mean about how much clearer I feel, and that clarity is what we're trying to give other people.
Yes.
We need to clear our channels in order to be our highest psychic selves and be on that frequency of vibration of clarity in order to give clarity. And that is not an exercise that is just like 10 minutes before a session. It
Right.
is something that starts with every choice I make throughout the day. And part of that is like I just feel clearer in my vision, both literally and psychically. So, yeah, just like what does clarity mean? It's such an important word in this work.
A big part of it to me is I think it's like you're constantly making a choice of what vibration you're going to be on, right?
Mhm.
What energetic vibration you're going to be on. And in my highest best moments, like that energy, I want to be in that vibration as much as I possibly can. So every choice leads to is an opportunity to be and stay at that vibration or shift, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't think you have to fully believe in this stuff
Wait, do
to.
you think alcohol is a low vibration?
Oh,
Just
for
clarify that.
sure.
Okay, just making sure
You
you're
don't have
saying
to
that.
be even talking energy to understand that. Like alcohol it's like scientifically a depressant.
Yeah,
Right? So
100%.
what it does chemically in your brain, in your
Mhm.
body, like even if you start to tune into the energy when you drink alcohol, you can feel you're dropping down into a lower vibration, and
Mhm.
certainly the day after you're in a lower vibration.
Yeah.
And so for me, I have the most clarity when I am doing the maintenance to constantly make the choices that keep me in that high vibration.
Mm.
I do it for my clients and I do it for myself too, right?
Mhm.
Like my life runs much smoother when I'm operating from that higher vibration where things are clear, where I'm not reactive, where I
Mhm.
can tune in and hear and in my daily life, and I know it's the same for you, I don't even have to tune in, right? Like because I'm clear, I'm in flow with that highest vibration that I have access to.
Okay, what if we asked people not to drink alcohol or consume sugar for 24 hours before a reading? How wild would that
No,
be?
that would be,
I don't know that people would do it.
I know. Like, never mind.
Yeah, yeah. Cancel, reschedule.
Yeah, that would be really interesting because our readings are a collaboration
Yeah,
with, as you guys will
totally.
see by listening to these, it is a collaboration. So yeah, I think it's something to think about, right? Like, and I
Mhm.
know that it feels like a big lifestyle shift, but it's not. Like, I don't miss
I
it.
know.
It was adding nothing to my life. The mocktails out there, like,
I know, so
will do
good.
just as much for you. And again, how empowering is it? And
Yeah.
I've seen others make better decisions because of me. My husband's currently at like
Mm.
6 or 8 months of not drinking. You
All
know,
right, good time.
I think it's really like it's that those moments where it allows someone
Yeah.
to reflect and be like, huh, she said no and it's no big deal and she's still having a great time and oh, she's gonna get great sleep tonight and she doesn't have a hangover tomorrow and like, you know, it's like, huh, okay.
I get so turned on when a guy's like not drinking if we go on a date. I'm like, "Oh, let's do it. You know, like, let's see
Yeah,
what's here." Yeah. Woohoo! You're in your power, you
yeah,
know? Okay, we do have to I want to give some advice too and just like level with people. Like, I think for me, the hardest parts are like getting through that first event, maybe like a couple times. Like for me, it was like a first date. I was always like, oh, why not have a cocktail? It was like a holiday, like Christmas and New Year's that was like around that, like drinking. New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is usually typically when people stop drinking for a month. But just things like that where it's like just get through it. It's going to be so awkward. It isn't actually that easy. You're going to struggle and you're going to just be like it's fine. It's like what's like I'm not an alcoholic or I don't need to do this or what like I'm only going to have a couple and it's like if you can just hang in there. I promise you after 3 months you're probably going to get every scenario of being tested of times that you're going to want to drink and not and once you get through those 3 months it is so much easier because it's just muscle memory. You've just built the habit of you're just like, "Oh yeah, I know how to show up." Like you don't really think about it as much.
yeah.
And I love being the sober driver. A little convertible, put the top down, give everyone a little ride, and like hop in, play some music.
Yes. Oh yeah. And there's still plenty of awkward times, like when people ask you,
Yeah,
well, why don't you drink? And you're
I
like,
know.
it's not, it would be almost be easier if I was like, well, you know, had a severe problem. Like then people are like,
Because
oh,
I am a psychic medium. How are you?
well, I'm a psychic. And like, okay, great. You're a freak. Also, speaking of freak, people need to watch this on YouTube. One, because it is just an emotional roller coaster and it's so fun to see
Hmm.
person more readings, reactions. But you guys, and Christina, do I look like such a freak with my eyes closed in the reading? I have my eyes closed the entire time and I
No.
just can I do it? And
I
you're
do my readings with cameras off because typically I am closing my eyes or like my eyes are fluttering or going up. I don't need to do that, obviously to the channel, but no, you don't look like a freak at all. Of course not. I think people can't understand how much effort it takes to tune in at the level that we do and how much sacred ceremony is around that. And so if that's what you need, I started doing that. I didn't do in-person readings for a long time because of that reason or on camera because I was like, I'm literally like rocking. I'm like playing with like I have a crystal now. I'm like, okay, like here we go. Like, no, I literally was like, I look like I'm being possessed. Like, not. So yeah. So no, you don't. I think it's very sweet, and I love to look at you with your eyes closed because it helps me like tap into that too. And yeah, let's talk about Morgan.
Yes, this episode was really fun. So Morgan is 30 something year old living in LA. I believe she was born and raised in LA, and she's, kind of at a time in life that I think is very relatable to a lot of people. She's worked in an industry, she's worked in the wellness industry for, well over a decade. She has many, many jobs. Like I don't know, what did she say? She has like six or seven different
Seven, yeah.
roles that she plays. She has spread herself thin. She has this bigger mission, right? All of these missions, again, are in like the wellness, bettering the world space. And so she has this big mission that she's following at the detriment of herself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not to mention she has a sick mom
Yeah.
and is thinking about having a baby in the middle of all of this.
Yes.
So yeah, she's phenomenal. How much
Yeah. And
courage.
she's had these like big life shifts, these big moments that we all have, right? That
Mhm.
make you think like that are perspective shifting and make you think like, damn,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like,
I know.
what am I doing? And I think a little bit like, how do I shift my
Yeah.
trajectory? I've like set myself up, she, like I said, she's in her 30s. She set herself up on this path and she's put a lot of work into it. And then you open your eyes one day and you're like,
I
oh shit,
know.
this isn't working anymore. This isn't what I want. And I know that's such a relatable feeling.
I know. And this is one of those readings too where we were really direct with her. Like we were like, you need to cut out, like, you'll see in the session, like we were just like not holding back of like do this. It was very directive. And I feel like this is like definitely one of the more directive readings that we give people in order to clear out what she's asking for from us. And so to have that full permission of her like awareness coming in, being like, this isn't working, like, what do I do? And for us to be able to like, this is the plan. This
Yeah.
is the plan channeled directly from the universe.
It
So,
was a really powerful one. She showed up very willing to listen,
yes,
here, even though some of the things we tell her are
yes,
hard, and it's not simple
yes.
to change your life,
No,
right? And
girl, no.
I I think a lot of people, if you're showing up for a psychic reading, there's a bit of
Yeah,
you that already knows like
yeah,
it's time to shift, and we can bring in the information to point you in the right direction and help support and encourage you, and sometimes like just like really bluntly, like it's like sometimes talking to us is just like staring the truth in the face and you can't deny it. And I think we get to witness that in this episode.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so thanks to Morgan, thanks to you, Christina, for showing up so beautifully. This is a
you
good one.
too.
And I think there's so many pieces of it and so many layers that are so freaking relatable. So
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how it helps our audience.
yeah, I know it will. And like to our audience, just listen in a way and notice what calls out to you. What parts of the session do you feel like you're like, ooh, my ears are pricking up during that part? That's not nothing. There's calls being asked of anyone who's listening. It is not a coincidence that you're finding yourself here. So thank you to everyone listening for being here, for being open. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what's going on. And we can't wait to get an update from Morgan as well.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Morgan. All right, everyone. Enjoy this episode.
Okay. Stay curious.
The records are now open. Okay, Morgan. Everyone's here. Christina, how are you feeling?
Good. Morgan, I'm getting a lot of information from your body, so I just need your consent, please, to work on your body and release anything that's stuck.
I felt that too, a lot of energy like up here in the chest area.
Yeah, and some tension in the jaw right here on this side. I don't know if you've had that, Morgan, right now, or if you've had it in the past, but it's just calling to me to let go there.
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had last night. I woke up on the couch and I'm like super tense on my right side.
Yeah, that's what I feel. So it does have to do, it felt like sleeping, like clenching almost in your sleep. So I'm just going to note that there and see if it wants to be known more about the information with it. But for now, I'm just going to support you and letting that
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, of
And
course.
your guides, your masters, your teachers, like your loved ones, it's almost like they're like tapping their fingers on a table. They're like, we've been waiting. So I have a feeling they have a lot to tell you, but let's get into it and let's bring up your question.
Yeah.
So, So many questions, but to choose just one, I'm extremely focused on my next chapter of life right now with career and family. My partner and I have decided we want to start a family because I feel like I'm running out of time. And I've always known I wanted to be a mother. But that brings me to my actual question, which is career related, because I have myself stretched across about 6 or 7 different jobs. And they're all things that I love, and they're all things I'm extremely passionate about. But I have a lot of people that depend pretty heavily on me. And over time, I feel like I always come back to I'm currently working in the nonprofit space and with 2 business partners. And I feel often like, why don't you just start your own nonprofit with something you're passionate about? Because you can make magic happen when you don't have other people kind of stopping you. And I always end up like, I've had a million ideas over the years and thoughts of businesses that I've brought to fruition for other people, which I'm totally happy to do because it's not about ego. But I do feel like I'm at a pivotal point where it's either like put all I have into this with these partners, but I feel like my soul's mission is maybe no, establish something that you have the power to say yes or no in, and you can put all of your heart into and put it where you want it and where you need it to go.
Oh
So
God.
does that, I don't even know if
No.
that makes sense.
I am saying
mean,
that just because so much, and Christina,
So
I'm
much.
sure you're feeling this too, so much information is coming through for you. There's so many pieces in what you just said that we can dissect and visit. I think we should go back. Remind me to, we should go back and talk about your relationship with time. We definitely need to talk about your relationships. But one of the first things that was so clear that came through is when you were saying, and sorry if I don't get your words exactly right, but you're saying I'm working on all these projects or I'm doing all these things that I love. The response was, but do they love you back? And I'd love to know how that makes you feel.
So that's 100% where I've been this year. My mom was diagnosed with cancer and we've been on a battle, and that really caused me to look at everything I have and everything I'm working on and where my value is truly valued and where I've convinced myself they value me. And so I've been really proud of myself. I've kind of backed myself out of a lot of the positions and roles that I'm in. It's kind of like I've gotten myself in a position where like people don't have passwords to their own things and they don't know how to manage their own lives essentially. And that doesn't feel good for either party involved. And so I've kind of reframed that and tried to put responsibility back in, ownership back to where it belongs. And again, that is, I think that's my question, my forever question in the, do I just dedicate this and put my passion and my heart where it's me and I don't have to look to other people for permission to do things, as far as like business, and essentially that would be like what entrepreneurship, which sounds scary. It's always easier to go work for somebody else. But the roles that I'm in, I'm basically entrepreneurs for other people. They just get to sleep at night and I carry the stress and burden. So.
Yeah. We almost don't need to give you the answer because you already have it. I think I think that the work that we need to do really is digging into the why. Why have you put yourself in this position? Why, like one of the big things that I see is like people, of course people are attracted to you. You are this bright magnetic light with so much so much good to give. And so it's almost like these relationships, and I saw this before we started fully getting into it. I saw like, okay, there's some relationships here that aren't serving her. And I think there's actually more than I realized. But it feels like it's not that, not that people are doing this with bad intentions, but it does feel a little bit about, like, I think the kids call it like the hungry ghost. Like, they're coming to you because they know that you can help them achieve their goals, and like their goals might be these incredible things that you resonate with, but the energy exchange that's happening is, it's not beneficial for, even though it might short term be beneficial for them, it's not beneficial for them and their goals. It's putting them almost in this negative energy, and it's draining so much of your energy, so much of your life force. Almost like, and Morgan, I mean this with the most love, like it's almost like I can see through you. Like it's like so much of the light is still there because you have so much of it, but it's almost like it's like you're becoming see-through.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And I think that I had that, I have that realization. I feel that. And it wasn't until my mom getting sick, like your most important human, you spend time with like mortality. All of a sudden, it was like what I needed mattered. It's hard to say that. I feel like truly like selfless. I don't like my, and I know it's not healthy, but like often I feel like my happiness is based on the homeostasis of the people around me. I'm the most happy when I know my people are happy, when I know that I've left something better than I found it. And I kind of feel like that's my soul's mission on this planet. And I think it's okay in that reference, but maybe not necessarily on like a human level. I need to fill my cup up if I'm going to fill somebody else's. And I know that.
And I know Christina has a lot to say here. I can feel it. I just have one small piece. Like, yes, but not at your own detriment. Like,
Yeah.
you can only fill others as much as you filled yourself. And so that's the foundational, that's the piece that's really missing here, is like, yes, that may be true. And I think we'll see what Christina has to say about that, but you have to fill your cup first. And that's like you're skipping a major step.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All of this resonates. And it's interesting because I don't know if this is true for your screen, and it's going to come out beautifully when we do it, but you're literally blurred for me right now. Like, I can't see on the screen clearly you. And that is not a coincidence when it comes to this work. And so I bet you're going to start to come into clarity by the end of this call. So just echoing what Brooke says, and the magic of this work is like, that is not a coincidence if we think about it that way.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some clear directives of sort of what I'm seeing and how to kind of do this, like in steps. First of all, there's at least 2 of these, I think you said 6 or 7 endeavors, that immediately when I say that, you're like, okay, I can cut those. Like, I'm ready to let them go. So it's 2. So pick 2 and literally just be like, I'm done here. Like, these are things I'm stepping away. But there's also a bridge. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's funny because they're almost just saying, just tell her just 2, but really it's like, can we get down to 1, right?
I was gonna say I'm almost gonna push it and say 3 at least.
There's a third thing, and this is what I'm seeing coming through. So it's a third thing that you're gonna take as an experiment. So it's 3 that we're working with, but it's 2 you're letting go, and the third one is you're gonna say to yourself, how can I radically adjust the relationship that I have to this one? And how can I start to empower that other person? So this is your playground. This is your sandbox of really starting to restore your confidence, your faith in getting your voice back in this way. And it's really, like, I think Brooke touched on this, which is so true. It's not about you, Morgan. It's actually giving them back their own agency. And they might kick and scream like toddlers to have to like do more thinking for themselves, but their guides are coming through very clearly and being like, this, we want them to grow in this way. And so it's not like you're just cutting it off and then, you know, letting them float. It's like this third place as a sandbox for you to be like, what does this look like to kind of offboard, to adjust myself, to hear myself in these conversations, having boundaries, etc. So does that make sense? Can you think of that third one, that other one that you're like, I'm going to just, yeah, that's so. Great. So these are all bridges to a bigger dream. So you say entrepreneurship, you want to do your own thing, but you're someone who works in quite big extremes. It's like you're going to pour yourself all in or you're going to burn out, you know? It's going to be all or nothing. And you sort of got yourself in a pickle with all of the things and then doing like all of it, right?
Yeah.
But for you, I almost like want you to sort of drop the idea of the big dream for now of entrepreneurship, because it's too big of a bite for you to take while you're working through all this other stuff that you're doing. And so we're going to, one, create the space, which you have. You've dropped off the two, you've working on the third, and you're just going to start to get to know yourself again. So that clarity about the starting your own thing will come from the bridge of taking these steps to resource yourself and give yourself more space before you make any big decisions. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay.
I'm already like working on the third. I'm already like moving that direction. So it all, and the two were very, before you even said two, I knew.
Yeah.
And I want to give you a different perspective on those relationships, Morgan. It's almost like I see this endless cycle between you and between them of like not enoughness. Like they feel like they're not enough to complete their mission without you, without your help, without your light. You feel like you're not enough to go out and do something as big as what they're doing, or go out and do your own thing. And so it's just like you guys are like feeding this energy of not enoughness, and it's like spiraling and growing, and it's not serving either of you, and it's not serving the bigger purpose either.
That gave me the chills. Oh my God. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's so well said. Yeah, let it go through your body. Like let's take a minute and just be with the chills. Let's breathe into that, Morgan. Maybe put your hands on your body. Oh, you feel that truth? Yeah.
And Morgan, you are absolutely meant to have a family. Like that gives me the chills. Like you are absolutely meant to do that. And let me ask you from a spiritual level and a logical level and a level, well, because I love you as your friend, like how are you going to, how are you going to do that? Physically, emotionally, like how are you going to do that if you're not first replenishing yourself and filling yourself back up? You have nothing to give. You have nothing to give to carry the baby. You have nothing to get, like you, for the sake of one piece of your destiny, your future, your mission of building and creating a beautiful family, like you need to fill yourself back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, I see a child and there's patience. Actually, you have a story that like time is running out, and I feel like if we were to name this episode, it's like time is actually infinite. It's your relationship with time that is adjusting, right? And your relationship with yourself. And so that spirit baby has tons of patience. And it's like funny that, you know, you're almost using, I'm just going to say her because I do see a little girl.
Yeah.
Like, you know like it. You're almost, do you feel that too? Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah. Okay,
We've
great.
had conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, great. She's validating that. She's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm a little girl. So yeah, just, she's not in a rush. You don't have to be in a rush. You're just kind of taking your time. So I'm just asking, you know, spirits are saying like smooth out the concept of time a little bit, but it's hard to do that until you reclaim your own time, as we're saying. Yeah. And let me see what else. Oh, and then, you know, you mentioned your mother, and I just want to like acknowledge the grief of that. You know, there's so much pre-grief that comes, and again, your intuitive self is like time. Right? Like,
well, I was just gonna say that's where my age wasn't necessarily my like time concern. I mean, I'm watching my friends in their 40s have beautiful, healthy babies, and they're more patient, loving parents, and everything aligns. And it's so like Brooke is a beautiful example of like what a beautiful situation. If she had had a baby 10 years ago, are you kidding me? She would have been like Like
Way to better
imagine
design.
that. Which she would have made it work, but she wouldn't have been present for her child's life because career at that time was like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, I know, but when my mom, when her stage 2 became stage 4, I was like, oh my God, Tom, we need to have a baby tomorrow. And he's like, wait a minute, slow down. No, no, no. But up until that point, it was like, can we have a baby now? Can we have a baby now? And so it was like all of a sudden the roles are reversed, but he's all, we're always like the voice of reason for each other and show up in that way. And so he was right, like, just hopping on board having a baby tomorrow while we're, attending chemotherapy and working through that. It was probably not ideal.
Yeah.
And I know that, just like you said, I know that that little girl is there waiting to drop down for us when the time is right. And we've worked through a lot of stuff the past few months and decided like, maybe we can start to try. And I was talking to my mom about, having a baby and my career situation on the way to a doctor's appointment the other day. And I work at the farmer's market. That's where Brooke and I met, is one of my million jobs. And I was like, Mom, I don't know about doing the farmer's market pregnant. Like, I think maybe this would be my farmer's market retirement. And I was like, but it's like my heart. I literally down to 2 days a week. I just go because I love it. I love the food. I love the people. I love the community. And it's good. It's like one of the things that I get to a job I go to and I get to leave behind. They don't bother me in my off time. The only job I have like that. But she looked at me and she's like, Morgan, you get to shop at the farmer's market. It was a light bulb moment. I was like, oh my God.
What do
I don't have to break up with the farmer's market. I just have to stop like lifting heavy ice chests and throwing smelly kimchi around. Like,
totally. It's like dating someone who opens your world up to like camping. And then you break up. Well, you don't have to stop camping. It's yours forever. You got to learn what you want. Like that is always going to be yours. The things that make you good and happy and alive. And like you get to claim that and just like reframe it. And I also, your guides are telling me, let her know you can grieve that all the way. It's like you're resisting letting go because you're resisting the feelings that come with the change. And that doesn't come easily for you. So they're just sort of saying, let me hold you in the grief of letting something change and that's okay. Like go full send into that. And I also want to just communicate another thing that I'm hearing about your timeline is that there's some holding on that you really want the baby to be born to meet your mother. And your mother's spirit and the baby are saying, that does not matter. Your mother is connected to your child no matter what, regardless of the earth, timing. And so I'm not giving you like a promise of the timing of what that means to you, but I'm just offering that to you as something that they're telling me to share. So does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
My mom and I had a really beautiful ceremony about a month ago, and we connected on a million different levels and lifetimes, and had some really deep, and with my grandmother, and who's not with us any longer. And
that's who is telling me to tell you this. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of confirmation, and I never got to meet my grandmother until I went to my first ceremony. So
there you go. That's exactly that. She's showing me that ancestral pattern of like it's like this with the women, and there's such a spiritual knowing. You've met each other many times in your lifetime. So I just want to make sure, Brooke, do you have any final thoughts? And then
I have 2 messages that are being that I cannot leave without sharing. Okay. One is a question. And the question is that they're asking is what do you have to prove? What do you have to prove? And I don't know, you don't necessarily need to answer it right now, but it's important that you sit with that and, unwind and unravel that for yourself. Because they want to know what do you have to prove. And they also want you to sit with like, what if you've already done enough? And actually they want to reinforce like, you've actually already done enough. You've already done it for humanity. You've already done enough for your community. You've already done enough for all of humankind. And yes, there's so much more that you can do, but you've already done enough. So take a breath and take a break. Allow yourself the time and space to focus on yourself and your little nuclear family and your world, and like build your world as beautifully as you've done your community and your outside world, and helping people. Like bring that energy back, bring it back to yourself, bring it back to Tom, bring it back to literally within your household. You've already done enough.
Thank you.
I really want you to think about those two things on repeat. What do you have to prove? And you've already done enough. And your guides are going to be with you, whispering that in your ear a million freaking times until you truly believe it. And I'm also hearing, like, can you start to say it out loud to yourself? Can you start to say, I've already done enough? Your body needs to know it's okay. Like, yes, you have this big mission here on earth, but like, you've done enough in this lifetime, and that doesn't mean you're not going to continue to do more, but you have done enough already.
Brooke, my soul signed up to save the planet. Like,
Yes, done.
You have to save yourself first. You cannot fulfill a bigger mission without being completely full yourself.
Morgan, if you can have one takeaway from this kind of conversation, what will hold true for you to float out as a parting thought?
I mean, it was that right there, is that I've done enough. What do I have to prove? That's really, because I think I justify the reply to what do you have to prove is, it's like, I just feel like there's this soul responsibility. And so my soul responsibility mission complete, now I can focus on my nuclear responsibility, because I at one point was trying to dismiss the family, thinking, no, I can be more, I can accomplish more if I don't have a family tying me down. I can get out there and I can help more people start nonprofits, and I can do more. Then I realized, no, just nourishing a tiny human and teaching them what I know and learning what they have to bring me in this lifetime, and that exchange can be far more powerful and reciprocate farther into the galaxy than my little self trying to handle it all can.
And it will be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Morgan, thank you for sharing so vulnerably. That was so powerful and beautiful. And yeah, your jaw already feels better. Your soul feels expanded. And we're going to ask you a little fun question that we love to ask our guests, which is, what is your psychic party trick?
Okay. So I don't know if I'd call it a party trick, but I started this thing called Gratitude List years ago. And I, every day when I get up, the first person who comes to my mind after like meditation, shower, which meditation is a meditation and then shower is a separate meditation. But the first person I think of, I text my gratitude to.
Oh, we love that.
Yeah.
Well, we're texting you. We're grateful for you.
Yeah, sending you a text.
That's so incredible. I am going to start doing that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's just, it feels so good. And like sometimes people will not text back for like days, and then they'll see it and they'll be like, oh my God, this came at the most perfect moment. I'm so grateful for you. Or often you get a message back like right away, like, oh, that's so sweet. But it's like completely open ended. It's just like, you're the first person I thought of today, and this is why I'm grateful for you. No reply necessary. Sending love. And so I'm sure, you know, any of those of you I know, I've sent them out to many.
Yeah. Morgan can't be stopped from fulfilling her mission.
Thank you, Morgan.
Oh, I love you both. Thank you.
I love you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Such an honor.
Thank you. An honor for me. And wow, what breakthroughs in just a few short minutes.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging with us. Thank you, Morgan, for your beauty, your light, your vulnerability. We cannot wait to see you shine. And, you know, can't wait for this next chapter for you.
Yay. Thank you so much, ladies. So
Yeah.
grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. If you're anything like us, you're probably feeling a lot after that conversation with Morgan. A deep recognition of what it means to give so much of yourself, to forget your own needs in service of others, and to finally arrive at the truth that you've already done enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
This episode is for anyone caught in the loop of overfunctioning, who's been praised for being capable, but is quietly craving rest, clarity, and something more rooted. So here's a reminder from us and from Spirit. You do not have to prove anything to anyone. Your worth is not in what you produce or who you hold up. You've already made an impact. Now you get to hear your own voice again and choose where that energy goes next. Until then, stay curious. See you next time.